Hey guys, welcome back. Today in this live mic coverage, we're going to be discussing the recent community news as it relates to reverting the game back to original Z1. So I'm looking forward to covering that with you guys today. If you're new to the channel or a frequent visitor, be sure you click on that watermark in the bottom right hand corner to subscribe, along with that bell if you want to get the continued notifications for the updates and other information that's released from the channel. So in the community Reddit, as well as a discussion I had with a fellow YouTuber yesterday, we were talking about returning the game back to original Z1. And one of the concerns we had as alpha testers, especially those of us that participated in Landmark, was how this was going to affect the community and how this would affect the game. Because typically, and I'm just going to make this distinction here from a very technical sense, and that is, in a typical alpha, it's usually under NDA, or it's usually a select group of individuals that participate in it and then provide feedback back to the development team. And then it's about, the games probably can be as rough as 40%, maybe even 50%. And then once it gets to 70%, it then goes into a closed beta where you open it up to a few more individuals, but it's still, the individuals are vetted and maybe even under NDA. So much can happen in a game before it reaches, say, that open beta where the lay people are introduced or regular players are introduced into the game to kind of really to balance out server load and just your basic interactions with players in general and their behavior versus, say, someone just doing regular generic testing for the game and providing feedback to the development team on how flow is, how it feels, the geometry, the symmetry, and other aspects to the game. Is there a synergistic feel to it? And just some of the technical aspects to game development. And that's usually what happens in your alpha, and that's usually what happens in your closed beta before it goes to open. And the game is usually roughly about 90% done, usually. Probably just needs a little spit and polish there before it goes into open beta. So the discussion was people requesting the game return back to the original Z1. Now, if you guys recall, the original Z1 had the Ivan character. So, I don't know how far back you guys want to go as an original. I'm going to assume that pre-Badwater Canyon introduction is probably the fairest I can get to. As a matter of fact, right here in the top right-hand corner, I'm going to have a poll that you guys can complete on what you guys believe would be your ideal setup for the game. And so, going back to testing and then open beta. Now, some of the concerns we had were that are very similar to those that we had after Landmark. If you guys aren't familiar with it, I will also provide you with a link right here in the top right hand corner to the original Landmark coverage. The game is no longer live. So it went through its alpha, it went through its closed beta, and then it went through basically live from that point. So from closed beta to live. And unfortunately, the game only lasted 5 months before it was closed down. And development teams, they can design their games and they can introduce their games however they like. So I'm not issuing any criticisms to them, nor am I issuing any criticisms to players in this particular outline. But the concern was that exactly what's happening now. Players liked the original game. They liked the feel. They liked the concepts. They just liked everything about it versus the way the game is now. And that is in the progressed stage, or what would be kind of in the maybe open beta stage. It depends on how far the team wants to go with the game. See, that's what we don't know either. We don't know where they are in relationship to a finish line. We just know that we're currently in. Wow, look at these conveys. We just know that we're just in the game. It's still an alpha, okay? So, you guys wanting the game to revert back to original Z1, I'm curious how far back you really want to go, and what aspects of it do you really want to see reintroduced into the game. Because technically, we you know, we're still in that game development phase, and the game needs to progress and move forward. So one of the questions when we were talking about the nostalgia thing, and I won't go into the nostalgia aspect because individuals are saying, well, it isn't about nostalgia. So, okay, if it's not about nostalgia, then you guys can mention to me down in the comment section below what you actually think it is that you want. You just want that original feel. You want that original sense of danger. Just the different things about it that you think was what attracted you to the original game. Because the game has changed tremendously, tremendously. And with the link you'll see now, you can go back through the videos and see, you know, go back all the way to the original video that I covered the game in, and you can see the changes that's happened into the game. So they asked me, okay, so what did I mean by alpha, beta, and where the game is currently? Well, if this were a genuine alpha and beta, you guys requesting the original Z1, if it were, you know, back to the original alpha and beta vetted players, you guys would have never seen the original game. You guys would have never experienced the original game. And you would just be coming into this in Badwater Canyon, knowing no difference. In other words, you would not have known what we did in the original game. And so you just would have accepted it for the game that it is now and just adapted to the way it is now. Is the game better now? From a tester's point of view, from my personal opinion, absolutely. It's made a lot of improvements. It's come a long way. I mean, I'd like to see more done to the game. I'd like to see more done, perhaps, for the PvE aspect, which is probably going to be the most concerning part. Wow, that's so rare to find a green survivor backpack in just general. Those are so rare to find. I don't know how often you find them, but going back there to the original thought, you know, the game has progressed a lot. It's come a long way. And I think that, you know, some more things could be added to it, perhaps, to make it more viable for the PvE player. If they really want to go in that PvE direction, it's really going to be hard to say what direction the game is really going in until they give us kind of a roadmap outline. But I don't really see the game going back to the original Z1. You know, going back to getting scrap off the cars with a crowbar. Because, as they mentioned to us then, all of that was just placeholders. The scrap was placeholders. The building material that we had, the deck foundations, all that was all placeholders for the game to get us to where we are today. And, of course, in hindsight, you can't know what the game was going in because we didn't know the direction, and the development team didn't let us know. But to answer that original question, you would have been none the wiser. You know, the game would have come out maybe even with the military base, with Corporal Moran, with the game currency, Eagle coins, and all that. And no one would have really known what this game was like in those early days. So, you guys are welcome, of course, to leave your comments, thoughts, and opinions down in the comment section below so we can get a little more clarity as to what you feel the direction of the game should be. And I'm feeling, as I mentioned before, that 2018, we're going to find out more about the game right now. I mean, we're going to find out something is going to be going on this year that's going to give us more direction, more understanding of perhaps where the team is going with it. At least that's what I'm hoping for. We're going to get more material, more information, more assets, just more game interaction with more release content, perhaps. And we'll just kind of see where the game is going to go. But that's kind of where I'm going to leave it today, guys. But I do want to get your thoughts on what you feel about Z1. And I'll go ahead and leave that obligatory watermark in the bottom right hand corner that you can use, and or you can use this channel icon. I appreciate your shares, likes, and participation on the channel. Your participation and shares are always greatly appreciated, and I will see you in the next update.